Welcome to round two, ladies and gentlemen. And here we have Pork on the left and Joe on the right. We got the Orzhov Mirror. Looks like Joe's going to kick things off here with an Evolving Wilds. And he's going to fetch immediately, which, you know, he probably should just wait until Pork ends his turn one, right? Like, presumably, I mean, it's a very small consideration, basically. Looks like Pork's hand's Metallic Mimic, Gifted Aetherborn, a Fatal Push, and a Skymatch Blood. No, that must be a Key to the City, I think. Now here I would probably play the Gifted Aetherborn. It's just or the Metallic Mimic, because then the Gifted Aetherborn and the Adanto Vanguard become much better because they come in with +1/+1 counters. So I guess actually that was probably the better play. Looks like Joe has the premium fatal push, and he took a life to do so, but it was definitely worth it. It's a very pesky card, get out of control. And he's got two pieces of his engine down, which is pretty sweet for him. Nice little start. Now here I would play the Gifted Aetherborn because, again, it's just more lifelink. It's better against 1/1s, which Joe's deck is. I mean, if Joe makes a 1/1 here and you try and attack, you're going to have to pay 4 life to keep your guy alive, whereas you wouldn't with Gifted Aetherborn. So I think I like Gifted Aetherborn a little bit more than that in that spot there. Joe's going to play the Master Trinketeer, which is a must kill for Pork because it gives all Joe's servos +1/+1. And Joe's trying to go wide and win with that strategy here. So let's see his hand. I think there's a Fatal Push, but he's no really way to trigger Revolt to get that 3 CMC card in the grave. So I would probably just play Hell Rider pre-combat because it's the most mana efficient. Yeah, I like this. And then I would attack with Adanto Vanguard. And you're never going to need to pay 4 life because Joe's never going to block. So attack for 3, then you'll go to 21, and then Joe will go to 16 because it'll drain for 1. And it looks like Joe has Settle the Wreckage, which is a really nice card in this spot because Pork's hand is, good, but if all 3 creatures he has in the hand get settled, he's a very hard time coming back, whereas Joe can just rebuild from hitting stockpile, creatures in the grave would embalm. Yeah, that's mainly it. Like that one there, Anointer Priest. And he's going to sacrifice that straight away just to trigger Revolt. He has a Anointer Priest on the top. He's going to put it on the bottom. Actually, no, he decides against it and he keeps it on top. Anointer Priest, pretty sweet, a lot of life gain. And when you get a... Oops, going to put that on silent. When you have... what am I saying here? When you have... Doubling Season out, or whatever it's called, Anointed Procession out, you get a lot of value. Okay, so I think my play here would be something along the lines of maybe play Legion's Landing plus Gifted Aetherborn, or at least play as many creatures as I can. Key to City is fine as well, as long as you play Gifted Aetherborn or thing as well. I think what I would do here is I would attack with Adana Vanguard. He'll inevitably block with a 1/1. I'll make the trade, not because I'm happy to, but only to trigger Revolt to kill his Master Trinketeer, because all his things are 2/2s, which is a bit ridiculous. And he can just, late game, he can just start making Thopters for free, which is really, really powerful. But look, Pork's going for a bit more of an aggressive option. He's going to drain him for 2 immediately. And he's going to block the blockable one. Pork's going to pay 4 life, of course. But I might have considered not paying 4 life there and trigger Revolt and get rid of the Master Trinketeer. Just a pesky, pesky card. And I think he has the option of playing the Gifted Aetherborn here, and he doesn't, so I'm not sure why. I guess he's holding up the Fatal Push, but you still could hold it by playing Legion's Landing. And then you could flip your Legion's Landing next turn and keep up with Joe's... Well, not keep up with Joe's token making, but doing reasonably well versus it. And he's going to take 4 on the crackback here. Or 5, actually. I hope I got that right. He should be on 14. I bet you I got that wrong. Even though I've been talking about how it's +1/+1. You should go to 14 here, not 15. I bet you I got that wrong. Did I even write it down? Who is editing these videos? Oh my god. How did I miss that? See, this is why I shouldn't have my phone while I'm editing. And that's why I put it on silent there for the commentary. But Pork should be on 14. Looks like he chose to draw an extra card there. Didn't hit a land drop, which is pretty annoying. Also, if he had played the Gifted Eighth Boar in the prior turn and made the same attacks, he still would have all his creatures, and then this turn he could attack with all 3, flip Legion's Landing. Obviously, you would have to play the Legion's Landing, and then you would trigger Revolt by flipping the Legion's Landing because it left play, and then be able to kill his Master Trinketeer with your Fatal Push, which would be a nice little bonus. I can't believe I missed that life total damage. I'm super annoyed at myself right now. And Pork's just probably a little bit frustrated that he's stuck on mana. I'd probably just play the Gifted Aetherborn and attack with my Hell Rider maybe. Yeah, he's gonna... I think you have to discard a card here to trigger this, which is a bit of a high price. And I don't know if I'd be paying it versus the token stack, because the token stack doesn't really mind about their life total. Discards a Metallic Mimic, I don't know about that. Gonna get in for 4 points of damage here. Yeah, I have that life total way wrong. He should be 5 points down. Not Joe's, Pork's. Here we go. Gifted Aetherborn, better late than never. God, I love Gifted Aetherborn. One of my most fond creatures in Magic. Not Magic, but Standard. Well, yeah, no, just Standard. Looks like Joe's gonna sacrifice the creature to trigger Revolt, get a Scry. Oketra, that's a real juicy one to have on top. Very easy to get 3 creatures in Joe's deck. The reserve tokens. Gain some life off Anointer Priest. And no attacks, because Gifted Aetherborn just blocks so profitably there. Profitably. Looks like Joe's got a start to finish, and also a... what's that card called? Settle the Wreckage. And there's Pork's hit his land drop. A little bit risky to... oh no, he doesn't know about the Oketra. Okay, that's alright. I think he finally plays the Legion's Landing. A little bit late. Usually you just want to be playing all your cards when you can. Obviously a Fatal Push, you can hold that for a big threat. Well, small threat, but a small big threat if you get me. He could flip his Legion's Landing here. Probably at the cost of... well, the cost of nothing really. Because you just make the... Hellrider unblockable, attack with the Gifted Aetherborn, and the Adando Vanguard. And you can pay 4 life to keep the Adando Vanguard alive, and then if he does double block the Gifted Aetherborn, at least Death Touch will, you know, kill 2 creatures. So that's pretty nice. And it'll also trigger Revolt, yeah, which Joe probably would double block. It would trigger Revolt to kill the Master Trinketeer, and then you'd be quite far ahead. Not far ahead, but you'd be doing decently well. Although Joe does have the Settle the Wreckage, so if he did that, he would be screwed, but it's still probably a good play. And Joe doesn't want to use the Settle the Wreckage on one card, I don't think. So he looks like he took the Drain first, and then the 3 damage. End step, he's going to start. He's going to gain some of that life back. And he's got some really nice tokens here. He's got Link and Megatron. I know I was given out to for saying it's either Megatron or the evil version. Wait, is Megatron the good version? I don't know, but it's Megatron or... man, I can't remember the other guy's name. But yeah, they're sweet tokens is what I'm trying to say here. And he's got Link in the bottom left of the screen, or bottom right actually. Wait, this way, yeah, that way. Link, really pretty sweet token. I can't see that scry, unfortunately, but he does have an Alketra out, which is really nice. So it looks like Joe's pretty far ahead in this game. It looks like his life total is just not threatened at all, even though he's getting attacked by an unblockable just because he's gaining so much life from these tokens. And yeah, Pork still hasn't flipped his Legion's landing, so really he's kind of all in on the board. He's going to Ixalan's Binding on the Alketra, which is actually really nice against Joe's deck, because if he does manage to get an Anointed Procession, he can't play another one, so that's, you know, a big engine of his deck gone. I don't know how many Alcatras Joe runs, but I assume it's 1 to 2, so it's not as big a deal. And he's going to ditch another card here to get rid of Joe's ability to block. And Joe's got he's kind of almost got a critical mass of creatures here. I think he might start attacking soon enough. I don't know what, I think he drew a Fumigate there. Not 100% sure. Looks like he's going to use Finish, the second part of start to finish. He's going to sacrifice a creature to destroy Hellrider, which is a pretty good play. But it's unfortunate that Pork didn't have one more land there, because he would have been able to trigger Revolt and get rid of the Master Trinketeer. So Joe triggered Revolt himself. I feel like I've said Revolt a lot of time in this video. And he's just, you know, he's just slowly ticking away with his servos. And he's not really worried because he has the Settler Wreckage in hand. Yep. Use your worst two, always use your worst 2 lands on a thing that doesn't much matter. So I think he's going to play a land on Maverick Fane here. This is pretty tricky for Pork to win this, because sure, his creatures are all good, but like Joe's creatures are endless, so it's pretty hard to get through that. Not endless, but you know, pseudo endless. Take a sip here. He's thinking. I don't think he can attack anymore as well, because Joe will just take the damage and start attacking back, especially if you attack with the Gifted Aetherborn. And if you attack with the Adando Vanguard, he just blocks with a 2/2, and then you have to pay 4 life, and then like he just loses a 2/2 that he's going to get 2 more of next turn anyway. So really, really bad spot for Pork here. So I think this is kind of a desperation kill, his Anointed Priest. And even the sick thing about it is he can get the Anointed Priest back, because I think there's 2 of them in his graveyard, and he can just embalm that next turn. But I think Pork's out to win here is through stopping the life gain and getting through with a Dando Vanguard. But I think I just would have played the game where I got rid of the Master Trinketeer and been a little bit more aggressive in attacking with my creatures. Now, obviously, I would have been punished for that, because Joe has a Settle the Wreckage in hand. I don't know Joe's exact list. I don't know how many Settle the Wreckage he's playing. But, you know, once I see that, I'm going to play around it the next time. I think that's a cast out in Joe's hand. Not 100%. It was a little flash there. Looks like he's going to pay 5. Sacrifice the Ifnir Dreadlands to get rid of the Adando Vanguard, which is a decent play. Although it wasn't, you're not really worried about it. And he's going to attack for 10 here, I think. Which is, you know, Pork's obviously going to block with the 2/3 Death Touch Menace. I can't tell if they're attacking because they have Vigilance. And then he'll gain 2 life. Actually, I think Joe can sacrifice. Yeah, he'll sacrifice before damage. He's left 1 mana up to do that. That was very clever of him, because then Pork won't get any life. And then he'll take 8 damage. And he's picking one of the Dreg servos, not one of the Primo ones he drew, like Megatron. I really hope that's Megatron. Or Optimus Prime. Wait, is Megatron the evil guy? Megatron. Maybe I'm mixing up my franchises here. You definitely don't gain life there, so I wrote it down as not gaining life, but there may have been a potential, you know, something. Potential something. I don't know what. But yeah, you're not meant to gain life there because Joe sacrificed before damage. So you can gain no damage, or gain no life. Ixalan's Binding, the Master Trinketeer. Better late than never. And again, I think I have Pork's life total wrong because I think he was meant to take 5 damage earlier, so he should be on 9. And possibly I've missed other things as well. And I think Joe can just sacrifice, if he draws a land especially, like he could sacrifice his Chef at Dunes and swing in for quite a bit of damage. Yeah, Pork's not having a good time here. He's seeing the token writing on the wall. And it spells Red Rum. Because this is going to be a murder, I think, on the next turn. Gets rid of a Chef at Dunes. You're not going to be using that anytime soon. Might as well get in for some damage. Although, I don't know if I would have made my guy unblockable getting rid of Chef at Dunes. I think I would have just played the Chef at Dunes, attacked, because either he blocks... I guess he's trying to kill him, though. He's on 6, like... Yeah, that makes sense. He's trying to kill him. The problem is, if Joe was worried about his life total, he could always embalm the Anointed Priest and embalm the Anointed Priest, sacrifice a token, and then gain 2 life back. So I think this is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 damage. He blocks 1. So that's block 2, 14. So he takes 13 damage. So he goes to 3. So he should be dead, because I missed the life totals earlier. So I probably assume it's a scoop up here. Unless I've missed other things that he gained life. And he's scooping him up. So Joe takes game 1. And yeah, I mean, not really much Pork could have done. I guess he could have been a little bit more aggressive, but as I said, if he had done that and attacked with all those creatures that one time, Joe had the Settle Wreckage. So looks like Pork's taking a mulligan, and I've skipped a little bit too far there, so there was an Aether Hub on turn 1. God, that pro editing, I just love it. And Joe's hand looks pretty gas. It's got 2/2 drops at least anyway, Anointed Priest and Hidden Stockpile. Oh, excuse me. I was moving the room around all day, and I finally got to the commentary. Man, I'm just noticing how bad the quality. Yeah, God, my camera focus, will you please? I was doing it all right earlier. The glare as well. The glare is killing me on the left-hand side of the screen. That's a Danto Vanguard though. Pretty easy one to make out, I think. Although I can see it in the big screen, so. And Joe's not going to play Hidden Stockpile first because he doesn't want to use his only black mana. Well, I guess he has a Nifter Dreadlands in hand, so he's not too worried about that. So he plays Yuhani off to a good start. There's not really much point in attacking because Joe's just going to block all day because you're tapped out, so he's just going to block and they bounce off each other. But I guess it's a free roll. Joe could not notice that, so you might as well attack. Whew. So Pork off to a very aggressive start here. And Yuhani actually a great card against the token stack because it gets a +1/+1 counter every time an opponent's creature dies. And Joe definitely likes to sacrifice tokens to, you know, trigger revolt, so that Yuhani could become, you know, very out of hand. Why do I have Joe at 19? Who is doing these life totals? He should be on 17. Oh, no, he just gained 2 life. Okay, my bad. Thank you, past Lynch. God damn it. Ooh, Vona. That's a sick card in the matchup. Destroys all Joe's non-land permanents that are doing crazy things with tokens. I think he's playing Ixalan's Binding because he's sick of that life gain. He's getting in, and the Yaheni's just gonna getting bigger and bigger. So I think Joe has made a slight error here because unfortunately he can just sacrifice the Adana Vanguard to give it indestructible, and then he'll have a 4/4, which is pretty nice, especially if you don't have a way to trigger Revolt and Fatal Push it. Although Joe's is the grindier deck, so the later the game goes, the more favors Joe. But the problem is he doesn't have his engine running. And he wisely chooses to use the energy because he doesn't want to pay a life when he's behind like this. His hand is full of 4-drops, which is really unfortunate. Looks like Pork drew a Maverin Fane there, which is great as well. It's going to start making him tokens. And I think Yaheni is a vampire, so he should get a token here. Also, shoutouts to Shane, who lent me his playmat to, you know, it was in place where I wanted it to be on the table, and it is the one on the right there, so, signed by Johnny Magic, which is pretty nice. We got that at the Dublin Pro Tour, as is obvious, but you know, we could have ordered it online, but we were actually there, not playing, of course. We're all trash. Looks like they're counting up the life totals. Joe really needs to draw his next land, or his next land this turn, right now. Oh, ouch! And he has to pay a life here as well. That's gross. Come on, please say I got that. Tell me I got that. Look, I need to see that life total change. My God, I really need to turn my phone off while doing this. He should be on 14. Yeah, just play the Vona, attack with everything. That's the only play. Doesn't really matter what order you do it in because Joe only has 1 mana up. I think this is 8 damage, which is quite a bit. Should get a 1/1 token here as well. Yeah, I mean, you know, there's the 7 on the dice judging me. You guys can't see it, but it's like right there. And Joe has it on 7, and he's just mocking me. This is pretty gross for Joe because if he had his land dropped the previous turn, this would be a really good play. Because he'd have the engine up and running, he would have played the Anointed Procession previous turn, but now he has to play this because he'll die if he doesn't. But it's too far behind here. An untapped Vona is what everybody wants. Oh my God, my camera is not focusing, which is super annoying. Focus, come on, one time. And he's gonna attack with everything here, I presume. You're just so far ahead. It doesn't really make a difference. And also, he can destroy one of the hidden stockpiles with Vona's ability. And Joe makes the blocks that he has to do to survive. And Port gains a lot of life. And his Yaheni gets to be a 7/7, which is outrageous. Pays the 7 life. Easy. I'll do it all day. I mean, you do it when you're on 8 life. That's pretty sick. He drew a Fumigate off the top. Not that would have saved him, but would have been cool. Oh no, it would have saved him because he would have gained a lot of life, but Yaheni would have survived because Pork would have sacrificed in response to make it indestructible. So if I'm Pork here, I'll probably just try and play around Settle the Wreckage as best I can. Actually, you don't even need to because Joe has no energy, so you should attack with everything. But maybe he does have energy that I can't see, so 1 attack will do it as well. And it's with Yahenni, so even if you had a Skywhaler shot, it doesn't really matter because you would just sacrifice a creature to make it indestructible. So we're 1 game apiece here. Also, it's pretty funny because Pork, the 2 times that he's been on the FNM recordings, he has been accidentally cheated, once by me and once by James. Both pretty bad cheats. Mine was probably way worse because it went on, whereas James's it didn't really matter because the way the game played out, it didn't come up. But Joe, I'm pretty sure, makes an accidental cheat here. It's a pretty innocent one, one that is just a mistake on the rules. So, but it's pretty funny that it keeps happening to Bork. Although I definitely accidentally cheat in the next 2 videos, not knowing what a certain card does. And I don't think it makes a huge difference in either game, but I will point it out when it comes up. Down to Vanguard. Pretty good. God, that Metallic Mimic has just never stuck around. And I think it's actually right here where the cheating happens. So, yeah, he's going to play the start from start to finish off this Ram's Expertise. And I think Pork's going to ask about this now. But those cards, I think they used to be where it was 3 converted mana cost, but now they are the total cost. So that card is actually worth 6 converted mana cost. Because I remember when I think when I was playing with Sauron, it came up. I plussed and that card came up, or not that card, but like some other card, and it was a dual card, and it was a lot of damage. So I don't know if that affects the game majorly, but Joe definitely has an extra 2 tokens in for 3 mana that was free that he shouldn't have. Gifted Aetherborn, always good play. Is that a second Gifted Aetherborn I see in his hand, and he's just stuck on black mana? It is. That's gross. Here's the Anointer Priest from Joe, I think. Oh, no, I'm wrong. Oh, he's going to finish something. Yeah, I mean, I think that play would have happened regardless. But just obviously slightly slower. Unclaimed Territory. Looks like there's 3 lands in Pork's hand. Definitely would have played the Swamp since I think he's stuck on swamps. Not that it makes a huge difference. Ooh, he's got a big play here. Can't see what it is. It is Hellrider. I probably attack here. Because he has to lose one of his tokens. And yeah, sure, you lose 4 life. Well, you only lose 3 life, and he loses 1 life guaranteed. And you really don't want the game to go long versus tokens. And it's not like he's going to attack you back, so I think I would have attacked there. And Joe is flooded also. Probably use Ifnir Dreadlands to kill the Adanda Vanguard. Or weaken Hellrider, but I'd probably just kill the Adanda Vanguard. Joe's in the tank. He's going to do something. Yeah, he has to use double black mana to use the Ifnir Dreadlands. And he sacrifices the Ifnir Dreadlands, which I don't like, because you could sacrifice a desert. It says a desert, so you could sacrifice Shepet Dunes, then do that again next turn if he draws a swamp, because he's used all his energy, and he could get rid of the Hellrider altogether. Whereas now the Hellrider can just sit there, and Pork can, you know, laugh off its ability. So here I think he should just play the Metallic Mimic, and then Gifted Aetherborn will come in as a 3/4 Death Touch Lifelink. And I can't see if he has double swamp. Yes, he does still have double swamp, so yeah. I definitely play the Gifted Aetherborn now. I mean, pre or post combat doesn't really matter, just as long as you do it this turn, because, you know, if Joe Fatal pushes your... I definitely wouldn't attack with Hellrider there, because Joe's just going to snap off the double block, and then that ability is gone. And it's even the correct double block where you only get to eat 1 token. That's definitely not worth the trade. Yeah, you should just attack with the Hellrider there. because then you just keep the drain ability up. It's almost like he's just an enchantment now, and you're going to assign the damage to a token that Joe can easily replace. So I don't like that attack at all, because like even Metallic Mimic could start getting in, although he probably really can't get in. Yeah, you play the Gifted Ain't the Born, get a counter on that bad boy. So unless Joe top decks something here, Pork's still in a pretty good spot, but he'd be in a lot better spot if he had kept that Hell Rider, because then he'd be getting in for 2 guaranteed every single turn with Gifted Aetherborn and a down to Vanguard. And Joe drew a stunner of a top deck there. That is Fumigate off the top. So Pork's going to pay 4 life here, I presume, and keep his down to Vanguard, but that is brutal. That's really tough. So yeah, I guess your plan now is just to keep attacking with Adanto Vanguard and hope Joe draws lands. And also earlier when Joe used you know, his Ifnir Dreadlands to get rid of the, or at least weaken the Hell Rider, well, the Black Hell Rider, I can't remember its actual name. You know, now if he top decks a swamp, it doesn't do anything for him, whereas if he had sacrificed Shefet Dunes, it would do something for him in killing a hard to kill creature like Adanto Vanguard. So these little small things that can add up here. Like if Joe has a swamp here, I mean, it can be anything, but if it was a swamp, it would make a difference. Anointed Priest, and I think he's going to unbomb Anointed Priest, and I don't know how the life total works here, so how much does he gain? He gains, I think he just gains 2. Yeah, I think it's just 2. And he agrees with me, you guys can't see it, but he has a 22 there. It's pretty unfortunate for Pork, he's just drew a land there. So you just attack with the Adanto Vanguard. And again, hope he doesn't draw anything. Definitely play your land out though, because it looks like you've got multiple Shefet Dunes in your deck. So you want to be able to activate, you know, double of those when you can. Joe takes the damage, that's what I would do as well. Looks like Pork's holding the cards as bluffs. Reasonable play. Yeah, you see now, Joe drew basically a black source, but he can't do anything with it because he no longer has the Ifnir Dreadlands. Also, I might have attacked there if I was Joe, because if you're not going to block anyway, you might as well attack for 2 damage, because you know the Metallic Mimic's never blocking. So maybe only attack with 1. It's a small thing, but could be worth it. Legion's Landing, that's a good one for Pork. And he gets a 2/2 Knight, or Vampire even. It doesn't really attack great in this board though, because Joe just double blocks and then you don't even get to kill anything. And it's not great. Ooh, Oketra, what a draw. What a great draw. Can't block though. He doesn't have 3 other creatures. Or attack, sorry. Alright, here's what I'd do here. I think I would play a land, play Metallic Mimic, name Vampire obviously, and attack with everything. Because then you would flip Legion's Landing. And then you'd be getting 2/2 lifelink vampires every time. Obviously Joe's going to make the correct block and block the Metallic Mimic and the Vampire and take 3 damage, but at least you're going to be pumping out a creature every single turn at end step that's a 2/2, which is pretty nice, and has lifelink. Oh, just 2 creatures isn't great. And like now, look, watch this, like Joe's just going to make the correct block, you don't even get to kill anything. So yeah, it's only worth it if you attacked with all 3 creatures there. Legion's Landing's not even flipped. I think Pork needs to be a little bit more aggressive in trying to flip that Legion's Landing. Otherwise, I mean, what's the point of the card? You're just getting on 1 lifelinker. It's not that great. Oh, Joe's got a 4 mana card, or he just wants to activate Oketra's ability, and look at this life gain. Pretty tricky to deal with. Probably going to attack. That's a lot of damage. It's 6 damage. I would probably take the damage here, just because you can top deck cast it to deal with it or whatever. And that kind of harks back to my, flipping Legion's Landing thing, is that like you would be able to make a lot of chump blockers for Oketra. and buy you more time to ooh, I don't like that jump block. Just take the 6. I mean, I get it, 6 is a lot of damage, but you had a lot of life to work with, so. And definitely start playing some of these lands here. Yeah, that's it. And Joe's just turned the corner with that Okatra. It's just a great top deck. And that Fumigate as well was pretty key. It looked like Pork was going to win that game. And he might as well get attack. And I mean, this is pretty gross. You're going to have to pay 4 life while an Okatra is beating you down in the face. But you got to try something. Oh, is that a... That's an Anointed Procession, I see. I'd probably just play the Angel of Invention here. And probably make 2 servos as well. Just to gain 4 life. Really put it out of Pork's reach. Well, whose hand was that? I need to know whose hand that was, but they gave him a dice. And, oh, you guys can't see. Oh, you can see. You can see the orange dice. He makes the life link. I think I would have made tokens there. Joe getting aggressive, attacking with the Anointed Proceeds. I mean, it doesn't make a difference because he's just getting in for more damage because he has a great blocker. I probably just kill one of the priests, right? Probably the Embalmed Priest. Oh, and there's that person's hand again. I don't know what's that. The mystery hand. And this is pretty much over unless Pork top decks something amazing here. Yeheni is not that amazing here. Great on turn 3. Not that great on turn 10. Or whatever turn we're on here. But yeah, the Vampire Mirror, definitely grindy. So much life gain and... Yeah. Looks like basically whoever lands their big threat wins. Joe with the Okatra or Pork with his Vona. Butcher of Magan, which is a sweet card. I really like that card. But versus Okatra here, this is just staring down the barrel, making a token every single turn. It's got +1/+1. Also, I definitely made a mistake in the life totals there because I forgot about Angel of Invention's ability where it gives every other creature +1/+1, which is why Joe attacked with everything there, and which is also why Pork didn't block the Anointed Priest like I said he should, which I was definitely wrong about. And look at this. I mean, Joe's got everything here. Yeah, you just play Master Tinkerteer plus Anointed Procession, and then attack with the Angel of Invention plus Okatra, and the game's almost over. Ooh, I don't really like the attack with the Anointed Priests. I'm not a huge fan of that. Well, actually, I am. Yeah, excuse me, I am a fan of that because he doesn't really have any profitable blocks, and if he double blocks, then Joe's loving it because he's going to get in for so much damage. And he can't, like, Pork can't even, I mean, he can pay 4 life. Oh, I like this play by Pork. He's going to sacrifice, and he still, he still has blocked it. Yeah, I assume I've gotten Pork's life total wrong again because Angel of Invention gives a lot of +1/+1. Oh, that's gross. Why is Joe's white land tap? I'm not too sure. Because I thought he could have played Master Trinketeer as well. That's another land for Pork. So he's staring in the barrel here. And I think Joe's going to take this game. Yeah. So Joe probably should just activate. Yeah, I mean, that's the handshake. And that was a pretty grindy game. Thanks for watching, guys. If you stuck around till the end.